Hi, I'm Jim Hanley from the Department of Epidemiology, Biostatistics and Occupational Health. On behalf of the department and on behalf of McGill more broadly, welcome, Dr. McGregor.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, and just a little bit about what we're about. I think the first one is to get an account of how you came to McGill and how you got into cardiology and your early work there, just lightly though, because you've already covered that in a nice PowerPoint back in December, and they're all Vic. But I would like to get into more detail then on the line of work you've been involved in for the last, I'd say, quarter century, and to discuss the role of healthcare research, healthcare policy, health services research. I'm not sure what name we're going to give to it. I must say for my department that many people in our department know you as Mr. Becklake, you know, the husband of Dr. Becklake, who was interviewed already by the journal Epidemiology in the series that really inspired me to do this.
I'm proud of your second name.
Yes, exactly. But that's not, though, why you come to seminars in our department. You're a fervent, probably an honorary member alone, just for the amount of seminars you attend compared to some of our own faculty. And I'm interested in why that is and what you think our profession can do and what it can offer others. So a little bit on that. And then obviously we'd like you to look ahead and see what's in store, what should be in store for healthcare itself, and then healthcare research and policy. And we'll be obviously interested in your advice for the next generation and how young people should prepare themselves. And I'm hoping the interview will give viewers some sense of your philosophy of life as well, and what guides you to be such a strong citizen in our area, and your ideas on how academics should behave. So it's a big mandate, and we'll jump around a little bit, but anyway, that's the plan. So the first thing I think viewers would want to know is not your entry into cardiology or any of the other areas itself, but your entry into the world itself. I think that's always the most interesting. So you were born just after the World War I in South Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and where exactly were you born?
Well, I was born in a little village.
Yeah.
I was born on a farm near a village,
Yeah,
up in the north, in a village called Rustenburg.
I see.
South Africa was just recovering from the Boer War,
Mm-hmm.
in which Britain had absolutely destroyed a world of farms. They'd systematically burnt the farms and rounded up the women and children and put them in concentration camps.
I see.
And this was a world that was now recovering from that. It was, what was it? It was 10 or 15 years after that.
Right, right. And that's when your parents went to South Africa at that time?
They both went out. The British, by the end of the Boer War, was it 1902,
Mm-hmm.
had a bad conscience. And they poured money and effort into rebuilding the country. And my father was recruited to go into government in South Africa.
In the civil service?
In the civil service.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my mother was recruited by an English school which had been asked to set up a South African branch.
I see.
And for about 20 years, the Brits poured resources and money and people into rebuilding the country.
I see. I see. And your mother was a teacher then?
She came out as a teacher.
Yeah,
Yes.
university trained?
She was at Oxford, and she passed the exams for the degree, but of course a woman couldn't be made a bachelor in those days.
I see.
She couldn't be given the degree of Bachelor of Science,
My goodness.
because how can women be bachelors? Men are bachelors.
I see. But she attended all the...
She passed all the things, and
I see.
And
And
I think I do remember when I was young,
yeah,
she was written to by Oxford and said if she wanted to pay £100, she could get the BSc, and she had better things to do with
I see.
£100.
And your father, how much schooling did
He goes to secondary school,
Yeah.
a semi-private school where you earned your income, in his case, on a singing bursary. They hadn't heard of football bursaries, but it was a choir school,
I see.
and that's how you earned how we got into it.
I see. And what was so you grew up in the country then?
Very much
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And
A long way from anywhere, really.
Right. And the political climate was like, I'm talking now the 1920s. You remember the latter end of the 1920s, I guess, right? Is
The
that when your
early part
memory
of the
started?
1920s, when I'm born,
Yeah.
is very much the end of this British
I see.
pouring in help.
Yeah.
A majority Dutch descent, Afrikaner people who had been fighting the British in the Boer War, beginning to recover economically. But the biggest question of my childhood were the poor white problem. And these are white Afrikaner South Africans who had been left with zero support,
I see.
no income, no place, no education. And that was the problem of my childhood. There happened to be a vast number of black African people there, but they weren't in my radar.
Right. Exactly. How large was South Africa? How many people?
I think it was about, I think,
you mentioned 6 or 7 million or something, wasn't
6, 7 million,
yeah.
I
And
think.
what's it today?
It's about 50.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
what's the growth?
it's about an 8-fold increase in my lifetime.
Wow.
And that's a mixture, of course, of population growth, South African breeding, and vast immigration.
I see.
Because
From
there's
the
a
neighbouring countries?
Yes, because the country itself has been, the continent has been a bit of a disaster
Yeah.
in the post-colonial era.
Mm-hmm.
And South Africa's been an island where there was more or less law and order and employment.
I see.
And so millions have come in,
I see.
just walked in across an open border.
Into farming and into mining and everything.
They've absolutely everything.
I see.
They are resented to some extent by local
Yeah.
Africans now.
I
Those
see.
foreigners taking our jobs,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. So for you, if you lived in the country, then to get a secondary education, how did you manage that?
I was sent away to school, sent
Okay.
away to a boarding school,
I see.
both primary and secondary.
Primary as
I
well?
went away at the age of 8,
I see.
came to a boarding school about 70 miles away,
I see.
and secondary school about 400 miles away.
And how scholarly were you as a child?
Enough to get by.
Yeah? You were not the star of the class by the sound of what you're saying. Well, you probably were, but you're not telling.
Enough what?
You were the star of the class?
No way.
No?
No way, no.
Were there any stars who went on to do big things?
We had a class or order, and
Yeah.
somebody got on top and
Yeah.
somebody was at the bottom, and
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
fairly close to the top.
Uh-huh, yeah. Now this is, we call it a public school, but it was private, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fairly high standards and so on. When did you start getting serious about writing and communication? Because one of my first things I learned from working with you is how serious we should be about writing and communication. Was that always with you, or is it something you grew up with?
I'm not really
naturally?
aware of it. My
No?
parents were quite sticklers for language.
I see.
Particularly growing up in a great country where English was very much a minority.
Yes, you paid
They were
attention.
very fussy that English must be spoken right.
I see. I see.
And I think it sticks.
Yeah. And communication in general and language in general. And I think you've said to me once that languages or writing is how you think. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's part of your person, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I was thinking the other day, Cicero went off for 2 years to learn elocution before entering Roman politics.
Wow.
And it goes for our contemporary politicians. If they cannot say what they think
Yeah. Quickly.
clearly
Yeah.
and transmit emotion as well as transmitting
I see.
fact and logic,
Yeah.
they're dead.
Yeah.
It's an essential thing.
Uh-huh.
And this goes, I'm sure, for the boardroom or
Science.
the ward round and any
Yeah.
group of people.
Yeah.
If you can't communicate clearly, you probably aren't thinking clearly in the first place, and secondly, you're on your own.
That's true. So then in 1936 you went to medical school in Johannesburg at
Yes.
the University of Witwatersrand. Is that how it's pronounced? Yeah.
Really, Johannesburg University
Is it? Yeah. And,
easier to pronounce.
You went directly, and that's not so far away, but you went directly from secondary school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And did you always want to be a doctor, or was there a specific event or a person that influenced you to go to medicine?
There were two things, really. I remember finishing school and my father saying to me, going to my dad and saying, I've not been in the world, tell me what I ought to train to be.
I see.
I
At
don't
the
know
end
what
of
it's like.
school? At the end of school?
Yes.
Wow.
Because you could, we were very lucky, you could choose to try and be an anything. I wanted to be a farmer. I wanted to go on running the farm that we lived on.
Oh.
And he said, no, you're too insecure.
Mm-hmm.
You go away and get a training in something first, and then you can farm if you want to.
I see.
But
But
and
specifically medicine? Who chose that, him or you?
it was one of the options.
Yeah.
He said one of the things that you would probably be okay at, you'd probably be a good school teacher, a good parson, and this is his evaluation of me, and your medicine would do all right, you'd be a good GP.
I see.
But the other motive, Jim, is quite hard to transmit. We grew up in the shadow of World War I. We knew there was another war coming, at least my mother and
Yes.
father did.
Yeah.
It dominated our lives. It was going to destroy civilization. And we were all militant pacifists, if that's not
I see.
an oxymoron.
Yeah,
I'm part of my decision to go into medicine was that doctors don't have to carry guns and shoot each other in a war. They
I see.
go around and patch people up.
Yes,
And
yes.
it was a very real part of my decision then.
Interesting, yeah. So at that time, you said your mother couldn't get a degree in Oxford, but at that time, how many of your classmates in medical school were women?
Oh, I think we probably had about 20%.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I interviewed somebody else who went to school after the war, and he said everybody in medical school, teachers, students, everybody smoked cigarettes in the classroom. Was there smoking in your time?
You know, it so much wasn't an issue that I can't remember.
Yeah.
I smoked a pipe, cigars, cigarettes, but intermittently and very lightly.
Yeah, and probably during the war you did.
It's the war that promoted smoking in the Western world.
Yeah.
Tobacco, the cigarette, became an essential bit of the ration. When I was in the army in Italy, may not have got food all the time, but the cigarettes got through.
I see.
And
they were the source of
they
comfort?
were a little source of comfort, warmth,
Yes.
suppress your appetite.
Right.
And they became absolutely, everybody in the army became chain smokers.
During medical school, did you want to go into medical research or to be a clinician? Or how did that
You know,
work?
research wasn't
There wasn't the
a
thing?
category then.
I see.
I was fortunate in having one of my profs who was quite unusual for the period in that he did what we today call research.
I see.
He was worried about the electrocardiogram. He was an electrical engineer, so he set up experiments to try and find out why
Things
those
were-
squiggles came out on, and
I see.
he was somebody who said the doctor, the GP, should try to answer the questions that present to him. So I didn't think of it as research.
Right. Just practical
But
problem solving. Yeah.
When a new medication called Prontosil, M&B 693, the first antibiotic came
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
we solemnly treated 10 cases with it, and of course we had 10 cases that hadn't been treated with it, and we did the first controlled experiment in my life, just to see if it worked or if it didn't.
You withheld it from 10, or you used the past 10 as...
Sorry?
You withheld it from 10 and you gave it to 10?
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
because we didn't know if it worked. There was certainly equipoise about it.
I see.
These,
And you never wrote that up? That was just for your own
it was just to go on.
edification?
Should we go on using it or not?
I see. So you were doing these, and this was long before the clinical trials people point to that. That's
Well,
very interesting.
you know, Jenna did something along the same lines. Jenna did something
Yes, he
along
did.
the same
Yeah,
lines.
with an N of 1, exactly. Yeah. So the learning, if you like, how much of that learning has been any use? The medical education today, is any of it still relevant?
Do you mean for me? Or?
Yeah, exactly. If you were seeing a patient today, you're not. But if you were seeing a patient today, would much of what you remember come from medical school, or is it
No, not at all.
not at all?
The attitude, absolutely. To question, to try and work out what's happening, is distinct from just applying formulas.
Yeah, I see.
I think that's the only bit that sticks.
I got it. Yeah. And then the biggest cause of...
We didn't have anything worth remembering.
I see. But at the time, did you think you did?
Yes, we
I think
thought
that's-
it was the best they could teach us.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, imagine my pharmacology course.
Yeah,
We learned how to roll pills.
I see.
We learned how to make suppositories.
Interesting.
I learnt by heart, about 300 drugs from the British Pharmacopoeia with the dose.
Yes.
And going back on them, they were all but about 3 or 4 were absolutely useless.
Yeah, I think you-
and several of them were pretty dangerous.
Yeah, you mentioned, I think, aspirin and
Oh,
digitalis.
aspirin, quinine,
Okay.
digitalis leaf.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
There must have been 1 or 2 others.
Interesting. So, and the biggest cause of death at that time?
Oh, acute infection.
Yeah.
Our wards were filled with young people. Pneumonia, probably the biggest single one. And of every 5 pneumonias, 4 died.
Wow. Yeah.
So you didn't have to do a big statistical sample
No. No.
to get an effect.
Yeah, exactly. You've already mentioned through your mother and your parents about the war and being a pacifist and so on, and then wanting to go into medical school. Did people generally know in 1936, when you went into medical school, that the war was coming, or was it a local fixation of your family? Or
I think it was more my family.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of
Yeah.
discussion or I don't think people. No, I don't think it was on people's minds.
Yeah, but you did say that your mother took you guys to Europe,
Oh, she was quite certain there was going to be another war.
so she wanted you to see
And
it.
she wanted us to see Europe before it was destroyed forever. It was serious. She thought that the next war, with the technological advances that had been made, would destroy European civilization.
I see.
And one of the miracles is how massive the destruction was and how rapid the recovery has been.
Yeah, exactly. So military service, was it compulsory? I mean, you were not inclined to go, but you did anyway in the end?
No, no,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
country there was no conscription,
Yeah,
and you either wanted to be part of it or you didn't.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And you were a medical officer in the army
Yeah.
then, when you were deployed to what, Africa and Italy?
yes, mostly
Yeah,
Italy.
Yeah, yeah. And what was it like being a medical officer in the army?
You've got some of these that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, we forgot to look at this. Who's this?
Oh, you can patch them in afterwards if necessary.
That's your mother, right? Yeah.
That's my mother and 4 visitors taking the rapid transportation to the village shops.
I see. And this one?
That's how heavy transport worked. That's a 12 ox power
Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah.
lorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this one.
Modern transport came to us in about 1924, I think.
Yeah.
That's a 1918 model.
Right. So that's just the same. I mean, you and it were built very well, both of you, to be still going strong, right? Because this is still going strong as well.
We're
just
close
as you
to
were.
the same age.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's still going strong. There it is in the townships.
yeah, and you're still using it, you said, to bring the grandchildren for ice cream.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, so this is you, this is in the war, yeah, and you had
Well, being
Were
in South African Medical Corps, you could be sent to a regiment, to Air Force,
Mhm.
and the first availability posting was with an air squadron.
I see.
And these were planes called Spitfires.
Yeah.
And those were my pilots.
That you were in charge of, medically in charge of.
I was aged 22, and I was the oldest officer in the mess.
Wow.
These are mostly teenagers. One or two have hit 20.
I see.
And they're flying those horrible
How
machines.
many of them survived?
Quite a lot, but quite a lot didn't.
Yeah.
The stresses and strains were, they lived together, and every now and again 2 or 3 dropped out and didn't come in for breakfast. And the effect on the family was quite considerable.
To be a failure.
That's the nastiest job that the doctor had to do. Everybody was young and fit, and I
Yeah.
didn't have to do anything
Yeah.
unless there was an accident.
Right. Or mentally if they
But
broke
what
down.
my biggest problem was that some of these broke down under
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
And
that was
the
shame
first
for
thing,
the family?
Hmm?
That was a big shame for the family, or was it?
Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
But the first thing the doc had to do
Yeah.
was to decide whether they were a medical case in which they were called operational fatigue
Yeah.
and would be sent home for a nice rest in honor,
Yeah.
or whether they were called lack of moral fiber, which was LMF.
Oh my goodness.
And if the doc didn't classify them as a medical thing, they were stripped of their rank, sent home in disgrace.
Oh, a coward.
And
Yeah.
it was a miserable, nasty decision.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, with them all under stress, if you just had to show a symptom or two and got sent home by the doc, it was tougher on the ones who didn't.
Yes.
So it wasn't just applying army discipline, it
Yeah.
was,
Yes.
are you serving the group or are you serving the individual?
Exactly. So you didn't stay there the whole time.
Oh, I
then?
got a posting out of it after 6 months, got into the army and became a regimental doctor.
I
And
see.
That was
For
much.
stitching up people and broken legs and
Yeah.
say, yeah, exactly.
Not many broken legs, but
Or-
shell holes and
yeah, exactly. And then, so then after the war, you came back briefly to South Africa, right?
I came back to South Africa,
Yeah.
did my
Oh,
internship,
internship for a year, yeah.
which I hadn't yet done,
Yeah.
and
Internships were short then, a year?
it was a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I went off to London to try and gain some further education.
Yeah.
And
And everyone was trying to get to London, is my
oh,
understanding.
London was fascinating then.
Yeah.
It was. That's what it looked like. A lot of it. The rubble had been cleared up, but I mean that's the state of the buildings of large chunks of London. And in spite of this, there was an air of vitality which was quite incredible. The war was over.
Yes.
Everybody was full of hope.
I see.
London was full of South Africans, Australians, Americans, all coming to do
Postgraduate.
advanced education and find out what was happening in medicine.
Interesting.
And
Did the war itself accelerate medicine?
I've
The-
never even thought about that.
In terms of drug development?
They probably put Fleming's discovery
Ahead.
onto the fast track
Yes.
by sending it off to America to be developed more rapidly.
Right.
And under previous conditions, I think they'd have taken a British
I see.
10 or 20 years
Yeah.
to bring penicillin
I see.
into a usable drug.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the first one. They weren't used to the process. of
That's
course.
it. That's it. But you said London was
So this
full of-
place was really exciting.
yeah.
And
and was that also when the social, the medical, what do you want to call
Oh
it? The
yeah,
British-
no, imagine it. 1947,
yeah,
2 years after the end of the war.
yeah,
British industry in destruction.
Yeah.
A war debt. They owned most of Britain and everything else to America.
yeah.
They sat down and said, let's have National Health Service.
Wow.
And they introduced it in 47. And since then,
And the principles have barely changed, have they?
and it's very similar to what it was. It suffers from various governments that try to reform it.
Yeah,
But the overall shape
yeah.
is much the same. a centrally operated, government-operated health service
Yeah.
based on taxation.
Yeah. And did anybody who was there then fall in line and want to bring that back as the gospel to where they were coming home to, or?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Except, remember, Saskatchewan followed it, not for free health service, free hospitals.
Yes.
A year or two later, I think 48, 49.
I see.
And it took Canada another 10 years to slowly convert to free hospitalization, not free everything.
Right.
And it's when 68 about that they passed the
Right.
National Health Act,
Okay. Yeah, we'll get back to
which
that in a
offers the
bit.
provinces
Yeah. Funded.
half payment if they want to come into free doctors and free hospitals.
So London is the beginning of cardiology for you, is it? More or less?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have, I imagine there were mentors there that set you on a certain track, right? That's the rest of London. Yeah, so I think
I was that's why I'm a cardiologist.
because of him.
I was lost in London,
Yeah.
went to where a lot of secondary education was going on at Hammersmith Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and met a South African colleague who had just been in contact with a Dr. Paul Wood. And he said, Maurice, that is the guy you're going to have to work with. And I had no idea I was going to be a cardiologist before
I
that.
see.
He took me in to meet Paul Wood,
Yeah.
who hired me for what was then, I think we were given 2 months internships.
Yes.
There was the pressure to get everybody. But I stayed on with him.
For a,
He kept me on as a resident.
for a couple of years.
For a couple of years.
Yeah. And cardiology in those days, you said research was different because there was a practical element to research. Is that right, or it was?
Well, yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah. In
Remember-
fact, I think you characterize this as the beginning of just getting out of the dark ages or into the modern age of cardiology, would you say?
Heart catheterization had started 2 years before. Up to
Oh.
that time, nobody had measured the pressure or taken a sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. It started by a German called Werner Forssmann.
Uh-huh.
And about 12 years before that, 5 or 6 years before the war, he was a doctor somewhere in the Black Forest, and he lay down on a stretcher one day and cut down on the vein in his forearm and passed a long thin tube up it, a urinary catheter, into his heart,
Uh-huh.
and got up, walked to the X-ray department to see where it had got to,
I see.
and to push it into his heart. And
To start watching. Yeah.
nobody had thought this was conceivable, and they didn't for quite a while afterwards.
Yeah.
German medicine was not amused at this escapade. He never got a decent job again.
Is that right?
But about 10 years later, during the war, Quinnan and Richards in the States read about his escapade
Yes.
and started doing heart catheterization on humans.
Yeah.
And
I think all three.
a couple of years thereafter, the three of them, the 2 Americans and this guy, got the Nobel Prize together. So he got some kudos in the end.
And you told me that you yourself, with colleagues, when you were learning
Well, we
this.
were just starting it,
Yeah.
and it was a pretty hairy idea.
Yeah.
So yes, we all catheterized each other before we ever
touched anybody
started
else.
anything on patients.
Interesting.
And of course, we made our own catheters and made our own pressure gauges. I had to go off to a glass blower to learn how to bend glass tubes.
That was the way to do it. And so you would say Wood probably was one of the big influences on your...
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a thinking on his feet cardiologist, and when he saw things, he wanted to know what
Why.
was happening and
I see.
why. And
Yeah.
he started heart catheterization in London,
Interesting.
and yeah, he was a great privilege to be by.
Yeah.
It's not what he taught me; it's his approach
Style.
to thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what sticks in this.
Yeah, exactly. And so you had 2 years in London, and then in 1950 went back.
We went back to South Africa.
As
we
and
got married.
you're at this point, yeah.
We got married in Britain, and
That's it, yeah.
went back to teach and do research and stuff
Yeah.
in Johannesburg for
Right.
for the next 7 years.
Yeah, yeah. But I noticed that in 1955 you were taking a little sabbatical at the Harvard School of Public Health. Why was that? It seemed a strange thing to do.
It's pretty hard to describe in a brief interview, but South Africa, when we got back, while we'd been away in London,
Yeah.
Government had changed.
Uh-huh.
And the government whose policy was to introduce the process called apartheid. So it was a government that solemnly put into law all of humanity's prejudices.
I see.
So
They'd been living
up to that time, blacks lived didn't have nearly such a good lifestyle, but they were South Africans. By the time they'd finished the apartheid laws, they were legislated second-class citizens.
I see.
In every sense of the word. No vote, no trade unions, no
Yeah.
right to organize,
Right. Yeah.
and very rudimentary education designed for second-class citizens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suit them
So
to
this
work.
is institutionalized now. You're saying the laws.
It
tightened
became,
it, yeah.
they took them about 10 years, successive laws.
Yeah.
They took my university and forbade it thereafter to admit anybody of color.
Mhm.
It had been open up to that time. And this, of course, put us somewhat in conflict with government.
Yes.
And it got increasingly uncomfortable. And a year's sabbatical in the States seemed a very good idea.
I see. Yeah.
And I was very lucky to bump into the Harvard group.
Right, and that was in physiology, lung and heart physiology.
Very oddly,
Yeah.
the Harvard School of Public Health had one of the hottest physiology laboratories in the world.
Yes,
And I was lucky enough to get to work with them for a year,
right. And I
which
imagine.
again was highly influential in teaching.
Yes, yes.
This is where I learned physiology research.
Exactly. And then I imagine you're starting to write letters now for jobs around the world. You're thinking about it. Right?
I went back to South
Yeah,
Africa,
but
and these
thinking
guys, the Harvard bunch,
help you?
no, they offered me a job.
Oh, themselves.
And I didn't quite want to be a physiologist. I wanted to be a practicing cardiologist
Yeah,
with an access to do physiology.
yeah,
And so I wrote to 2 or 3 places in the world, the States and Canada one,
right.
and was accepted and came to McGill.
Yeah. What attracted you to McGill?
Oh, a guy called Christie, who had become
Oh,
head of
yes.
medicine,
Okay.
who I had met in London,
Oh, you had.
and
Okay.
Just,
Yeah,
and Bates, who came with Christie.
yeah. I think
And
they're.
I'd met them briefly in London.
No, they're not there yet. Anyway, okay.
That's
So-
Fortman, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I see. So, and the other, where
And
where might have
the
you
other
gone?
reason I came here is explained by the fact that I'd been here for 3 months when I got a letter from Atlanta offering me a wonderful job. They'd been using surface mail to South Africa,
And it got back to you eventually.
so the McGill
There was no internet, is what you're
the
saying, and no
McGill-
email.
the McGill offer came first.
I see. And when you came to McGill first, you were, where were you stationed?
Well, in those days, there wasn't such a thing as a pediatric cardiologist.
Yeah,
You were a cardiologist, and they needed me at the Children's, and that's where I first went.
I see.
And I was jointly appointed to the Vic and the Children's.
I see. And you mentioned me at one point doing some of the various bits of research again, practical stuff. A lot of it was practical.
Well, I
right?
was very lucky. There was a wonderful Yugoslav called Sekeli, who, again, a refugee from the war,
Yeah,
working at the Children's in a lab.
yeah.
And we got together, and he invented one of the early oximeters. And we used it to put on the ear of children to measure cardiac output. Cardiac output measurement was a pretty invasive procedure in those days. It was done by the Fick principle, and you drew samples of blood rapidly.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Then they displaced it by injecting a dye and rapidly drawing blood from an artery
Wow.
to get the rise and fall of concentration of the dye. Now, Sekeli managed to put an air oximeter on an adult or a child
And shine
and
the light?
injected a little bolus of dye into a vein, and you could watch the rise and fall
By what? Through the ear?
by transmitted light
In the
with
ear?
a sensor on one side and a light on the other.
Very good, yeah. And that's today the same principle we use here with the pulse oximetry, is it?
It's
Yes.
become the pulse
Yeah,
oximeter now.
I see.
You could measure cardiac output if you graduated a pulse oximeter the right way.
I see.
You'd need to calibrate it.
Yes, yes. Goodness. And what
no-
was Montreal like at that time? Was it, this was the 1957, right, when you came?
Montreal was an extraordinary city.
Yeah.
If you went there, it was divided
Yeah,
along
Linguistic.
Saint Laurent,
yeah.
the Main,
Mm-hmm.
and really, people who lived on the west side of Saint Laurent very, very rarely went to the east side. People came from the east side to the west to work,
Mm-hmm.
but that only to work.
Yeah,
And there really was no mixing.
yeah.
It was quite
Was
extraordinary.
Hugh McLennan here at the time? They were-
Absolutely. The
yeah,
two
did you ever meet him?
solitudes.
Did you ever meet him?
No. I
No,
didn't,
but the
no.
book is just about that, isn't it?
We read it as he published it
Is that right?
to help us understand what
Yes,
was going on.
yes. I did the same thing. It's,
Did you?
yeah, it's quite a good book. Yeah, in that sense. Yeah.
And of course, as a city, the present Sun Life building was the building. It dominated the scenery.
Uh-huh.
There was nothing else above four stories.
Yeah, yeah. And there's now we have many more. Yeah. So
McGill was 100% English speaking,
yeah.
as was the hospital, the children's hospital.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so you were 10 years basically as a cardiologist at McGill, and then you got to be dean of medicine. Did you apply for that or
Nobody applied for those jobs in those days.
no?
I was
Asked.
happily being a cardiologist and doing research and practicing. And I got a message from the principal, would I come and see him?
Mm-hmm.
And I had never seen him before, let alone knew who he was. But I went down, he was a guy called Rock Robertson,
Yes.
a doctor from the General. And he said, Maurice, this committee's chosen you to be the dean. You must make up your mind fairly fast. I'll give you till Monday. So by Monday, this was a Friday afternoon, I had to decide if I wanted to do this or not.
Yeah. And what was that? You were there in that job for 5 years. What was that like? Did you make a lot of changes or?
Oh, goodness. The things I remember from
Yeah.
my deaning
Yeah,
are the interaction with the political world.
I see.
This was a phase in which French Canada was, remember the Revolution Tranquille?
Yeah.
They suddenly decided to throw off the past.
I see.
And part of that was suddenly resenting this English university in the middle of a French town.
Mm-hmm.
And McGill Français was a very powerful movement. I remember one occasion called Opération McGill, in which there was a manifestation of, it was estimated to be about 10,000, came down Sherbrooke Street to the front of McGill, and at the same time the police warned us, they warned us the day before, that there was going to be an invasion from the back, quite a small one, while we were all looking on Sherbrooke, and that they intended to get into buildings and
I
create
see.
mayhem.
I see.
So a very small group, deans and their assistants, were placed in each building. I sat in the McIntyre with Doug Kinnear, and we were given a sack of sand and a shovel for putting out incendiaries, and a thing called a walkie-talkie radio, which was a thing about that big
Uh-huh.
before
for
cell
help.
phones came in,
Mm-hmm.
because they believed that the phone lines would be cut.
Nice.
But there never was an invasion. They intercepted a car full of Molotov cocktails, and the rest got burned in front of the Roddick gates. But so those are the things I remember.
Yes, I would too if I were.
The other thing
the
I
dean at that point.
remember was that at the same time, the young government was bringing in Medicare.
Yes.
And the doctors of Quebec objected to this very strongly and went out on strike. And
So
I was a dean
then
without a faculty.
they what? They went off working somewhere else?
They went off working, and they got out of Quebec.
I see.
They didn't want to be
Yeah.
conscripted. They didn't want anything, so they left.
I see.
And I
So
don't know how long it went on, but at least 6 weeks, I think. And it would have gone on forever, except that the October crisis ended it.
I think
That's a picture of Montreal. Just next to my office in the deanery, Cross, the British Trade Commissioner,
yes.
was captured by a small extremist group.
Cell, yeah.
And then another group captured Mr. Laporte,
That's
the
right.
cabinet minister, and murdered him.
Yeah.
And Canada went into a state of emergency.
That's right, Marshall.
And we were, because we didn't know what was going on, we're very happy to see the army all over the place. But amongst other things, they declared everybody get back to work at once, which
I see.
ended the doctor's strike.
I see.
And they didn't want to go back to strike when it was all
So
over.
Quebec Medicare started then.
And that was the beginning of
Oh,
Medicare.
I see. You told me as well at one point that you had, he was a doctor, Castonguay?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was, what was he then, health minister?
He was health minister.
Yeah.
A remarkable man, because he had been chair of a very thoughtful, in-depth health commission,
That's
the
right. That's
Castonguay Commission,
That's still talked about, yeah. Yeah.
running for about 2 or 3 years. And by the luck of the game, he turns up to be health minister
Mhm.
with an absolutely free mandate. And Canada is moving forward. It's the federal government that passes the legislation
Right.
offering Medicare.
Yeah. So now it's for
So
him
he
to
sits
implement.
down and has a chance to
Implement it.
do what he's been talking about.
I see.
It was very exciting.
Yeah. And you brought him to McGill even?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
another story. He was, during the strike, there was immense polarization,
Yeah.
and he was the devil incarnate in the eyes of my faculty. And I went to see him and found him to be a very decent, intelligent guy, and said, listen, I want you to come and meet my faculty. And I called a meeting of heads of departments. Actually, it was the routine one. And said, after opening it, said, I've got a visitor I want to introduce you to. Went out and brought Castonguay into the room, introduced him, and here they were, face to face with this devil incarnate that they'd never met before. And at the end of an hour of his quietly talking to them and answering their questions, it changed the whole
He turned
flavor.
them around. Yeah.
It changed the whole attitude to
Interesting. Yeah.
this disaster.
Are you still a big believer in face-to-face resolution of conflicts?
It sure helps.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess Skype's better than nothing.
So you were dean for 5 years. Then you went back to being you were physician in chief at the Vic for 5 more, and cardiologist for 5. And I noticed in that time you start to begin to publish in I would call it health policy research or health services research or whatever you want to
Not
call
so
it.
much research.
But health policy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And why? That's a very strange thing for a cardiologist and ex-dean to be doing, moving over into.
I suppose while you're doing your cardiological thing, you do it very full time.
Yeah.
But moving out into administrative roles,
Yeah.
deaning,
Yeah.
and I was vice principal health for a while.
Oh, that job title was there then as well?
No,
Principal
it was
health?
created actually for me when I ended deaning, and it was a bad idea.
I see.
It wasn't the present.
Yeah, right now the same person holds both.
Which is how it should be.
Oh, I see. I see.
But it was an experiment, and it
Yeah.
didn't work, and I gave it up after a year.
So you're coming
But
back.
you asked the question.
Yeah.
You start to look at the world much more than just the stethoscope and the individual patient,
I see.
and
You made about the bigger system.
particularly the interaction of a medical faculty with society,
Yes.
with government.
Yeah.
You start to look at governments and what they're doing, and you become more interested.
Yeah, and I guess you get some sense of budget too, do you?
Some sense
of budget and what the healthcare system is costing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You become intensely budget aware, right?
Yes.
Because what you could do depends on what's available.
Yeah, whereas you're a cardiologist, one patient at a time, budget is never in your mind.
No.
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 In fact, I
It's
think
just something they don't give
you've
us.
told me once that, in fact, a doctor is not even supposed to think about cost in deciding one medication or another, or to order an operation or not, or to
I think that
Is that
most
the-
people would agree that's correct.
yeah,
Uh,
no matter what even if it's
I
bumping
meant-
somebody else,
yeah.
that one patient is all your worry.
Hippocrates says you must do the best within your power,
Right,
or within your means,
I see.
which meant within the patient's means too.
Yeah,
And that meant you do the best within their means. And before Medicare came in,
yeah,
you said, what can you afford?
I see. I
And every
see.
now and again, we were associated with fund drives for individual patients. They needed something expensive. You wrote about them in the Montreal Star,
I see.
and somebody would subscribe a little money to them.
Yeah,
And that was the gift of Medicare, never to have to do that again,
that's right.
to be able to do,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
leave the government to do the limiting. Not they are there to not allow you the over expensive what the state can't afford.
Yeah, yeah.
But within the state, say you're a doctor in Medicare. No, I don't think you're meant to be fussing about costs.
Okay. We'll come back to that in a minute, but there's a small interlude here of 3 years where you were Dean of Medicine back in your alma mater in South Africa, with Watersrand, right? You were
Mhm.
Dean of Medicine in Johannesburg for 3 years.
When I'd finished
Yeah,
deaning here,
yeah. You were Dean.
and finished my job in the Department of Medicine,
Yeah,
in Johannesburg, my university was having a very rough time. The apartheid government was having more and more difficulty maintaining apartheid, which meant they were getting rougher and rougher. And students were in conflict, the university was in conflict with the state. And I think they thought to bring some outside experience in would be a good idea, but they pressured me very hard to go out. I went to do 3 years.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do more.
yeah.
I didn't want to become a South African again.
Right.
My roots were in Canada now,
Yeah, yeah.
and I thought 3 years was the longest
You would.
transplantation
Yeah.
I could do.
And you were able to get, had a lot of dealings with the politicians and getting, what changed while you were there? Were you able to get much change for the
Oh,
blacks?
It's very hard to describe
Yeah.
the tension.
Yeah,
We were in major conflict.
Yeah.
Remember, we had white hospitals
Yeah.
and black hospitals.
yeah.
And the students,
Wanted them integrated, I guess.
there were no black students, not allowed in.
Right. But did you get any in?
And just around the time I arrived, they gave us a quota. And the first year we were allowed to admit 12. And the second year we were allowed to admit 30.
Wow.
And my third year, they ended rationing, and you could have as many as you wanted. This was apartheid really coming to an end,
I see.
but the violence was still very considerable. And now living through that was quite interesting,
Yeah.
because you now could admit black students as intelligent as anything, as you can imagine, but
Sure.
undereducated.
Yes.
And to just dump them in a curriculum
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that
You
the
had to
other
bring them
students-
up to speed first. I
And
guess.
the faculty was marvelous.
I see.
They went through all sorts of tutoring,
Remedial, yeah.
various schemes
Yeah.
to bring the black students up to speed, and that was the principal part of my trial there. And also getting the black hospitals open to whites, and much more important, the white hospitals open to blacks.
Yes, I can imagine.
And while I was there, it became allowable
Mhm.
to admit black students to a white hospital and to have black students working in a white hospital.
Okay.
unthinkable up to that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. And it's changing fast now.
So
So
it was
we're
a
around 86 at this
Pretty
point.
chaotic.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
it
by 90
took-
something, when did Mandela get out of jail? 92, 93? No, 90s.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you mustn't chase me on those days.
Yeah, yeah.
93, 94.
Something
isn't
like
it?
I think so.
It's,
yeah, yeah.
This is, so I'm talking about 84, 10
Yeah,
years
ma-
before
yeah,
that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Mandela himself was a student around your time, but you'd never met
He
him.
must have been
Yeah, from just hearing what...
part-time in the law faculty.
Yes, yeah.
Uh,
But you never
didn't-
were aware of him at that point?
Absolutely
No,
not.
no.
No.
Of course,
And
he went
remember,
under.
from the day he was put into jail, it was illegal to show a picture of him, to talk about him in a room of more than 3 people.
What? There were rules
so
of
he
this
was
kind?
white.
There were rules of this type?
Oh yeah, it was.
A room with 3 people or more?
No crowd could talk about him or his history,
My goodness.
and it was a very, very tight control.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
And to run an ordinary university, freedom of thought and all that sort of thing,
Exactly.
under those conditions is not.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Have you seen it, the place, since?
Have I what?
Have you been back to the university since?
Oh yes, frequently.
Yeah?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I've kept
and,
my contacts with it
Yeah,
before and after.
yeah. And how are they doing now?
I think they're doing an absolutely marvelous job.
Great.
It
Yeah,
the last 3 principals have been black, fine people.
yeah, yeah.
The student body, instead of it being a small minority black, to whom you have to learn how to manage and be tolerant with, is I think it's probably majority black now.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're doing it with a minimum of frictions. I mean, for a revolution of this sort to take place,
Yeah. Well, it seems the whole country is
without
doing that.
the whole
Yeah,
country,
Yeah, yeah.
it is one of the miracles
Yeah.
of our
And you
day.
think it's something in their spirit or psyche, or did Mandela's example have a lot
Mandela's-
to do with it?
Mandela's got to play a major
Oh, yeah,
part.
yeah. In just
And
the attitude.
in any population, the mass of people want peace.
Yes.
But if you raise political tension enough, they can become violent. In the Ukraine, in Notting Hill Gate,
Sure.
you name it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can turn peaceful citizens
Quickly.
into violent mobs.
Yeah, yeah,
And the fact that that didn't happen
yeah. Must be.
is due to
down
Mandela, and make no mistake, it's due to a guy, the South African Prime Minister of the time, who knew that apartheid would not go on, knew it had to end, and who was concerned in how to do it peacefully.
Yes.
And it's extraordinarily
Did
lucky.
they share?
Sorry?
Did the 2 of them share a Nobel Prize? In fact, over that.
Yeah,
I
they
think
did.
they did. Yeah. So that was
And-
well deserved by the same.
And
That pairing made a lot of sense.
it's as if the British Raj and Gandhi had been sent off to Sweden to share a Nobel Prize. They did it peacefully in South
Yes,
Africa.
yes,
It-
yes.
Who gets the credit? Mandela so actively transmitted his concept
Yes.
of the Rainbow Nation
Yeah.
energetically. He left government very largely to his cabinet.
Yeah.
He went around making gestures
Yeah.
to make his black followers know that he was,
Yeah.
the whites were also citizens.
That's it. Even in that movie with the rugby, there's a piece about that. Is that fairly right? I
Yes,
think-
it's a pretty good depiction.
Yeah, Invictus. Yeah, that was.
You saw that, did you?
Yes, indeed. I was quite impressed because
And-
he was under a lot of
And
pressure.
rugby to the Afrikaner South Africans is what ice
religion.
hockey is in Quebec.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. But it sounds like he got the blacks to be interested when they weren't.
Not really.
No.
No.
But at least
But they
to give and take. Yeah.
They would have sneered at the game. This is a white upper class game.
That's true.
No blacks took part in it.
That's
They
true.
played soccer.
Yes, of course.
Soccer was a black-white game, mostly black.
Yeah, you didn't need any.
And that
fancy.
Mandela put on a jersey and said, "I'm part of this. You are part."
Yeah,
it was,
that's
it was an
cheer.
incredible
for every-
gesture.
Yeah,
But he did many like that.
yeah, yeah. So then you're back now in for the last, and you became professor emeritus in '87. So that's 13. That's a decade, or sorry, a generation now of being professor emeritus. It's a whole career in other people's lives. This 20-something years you've done as professor emeritus, which is so admirable. And I would say the majority of that time was in this area of health technology assessment. Would you say that's been the last 25 years?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I came back from South Africa, went back into cardiology.
Yeah, it must be very hard to do that.
It's quite hard doing,
Yeah.
and got a phone call from Quebec saying, we'd like to talk to you.
Yeah.
And it's a nice story away. In Quebec, a civil servant, not a very eminent one,
Yeah.
had read about the American, what was it called?
Health technology. Office of Health Technology. Office of Technology Assessment.
The OTA, the
Yeah,
Office of Technology
That's
Assessment,
it. Yeah.
set up by Congress to do scientific evaluation of the effects and the costs associated with various government interventions. And OHTA, Office of Health Technology
Right.
Assessment, was there to tell Congress what things would cost, what it would happen if you did this or that.
Right.
Outside government, and this little civil servant in Quebec City read about all this and said, wow, that's what we need for our government. We need an office which will give them the facts
Yeah.
outside the civil service, outside the administration.
You used to say something. Sometimes it was like Consumer Reports magazine for health.
Very like it.
Yeah.
Evaluate all the different options.
Yeah.
And tell the government decision maker what the choices are.
Right.
And he saw this, and he actually drafted the legislation to create a Conseil d'évaluation des technologies.
En santé.
And in about 10 years, he got it passed into law.
Uh-huh.
And they passed the law, and then they tapped me on the shoulder and said, come and preside over putting this into action.
Yeah.
Why they picked me, I have no idea.
But you had an interest in the health system
I'd
at this
published
point.
I'd published a New England editorial
Yeah.
about how something like this had to happen.
Yes.
But,
If costs weren't going to keep going, and
Yeah,
yeah,
the
exactly.
costs were going up, and
Yeah.
this was one of the ways to.
Yeah. Now, I didn't realize, but your definition of health technology is fairly broad, is it? Or is it
Yes,
easier to say what it doesn't cover than what it does?
It is everything: devices, medications,
Yeah.
processes, procedures used by health professionals and the systems within which they are applied.
I see. So it's practically everything except doctor salaries and
Yeah, it's everything that goes on in a hospital except making the bed, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even that comes into it. Beds cost about 12,000 each now, and
A bed costs
a miniature. They are machines which raise and lower, and so and there's hardly anything except, let's say, changing a bed,
Yeah.
which is old-fashioned medicine.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rest is appliance of machines, devices, medications.
I remember in a separate issue altogether, we had a talk from an architect a couple of years ago about hospital architecture and single rooms in hospitals, because that's the MUHC new hospital is going to be all single rooms.
Yes.
And I remember you saying there were some downsides to that.
The biggest downside is when you don't have enough nurses, and in single rooms you fall out of your bed and you stay on the floor until some nurse comes by.
Yeah.
In an open ward like we used to have,
Yeah.
all the patients saw you fall out of bed,
And
and they rang their bells until a nurse turned up. And one nurse could sit and
watch 6 or 8.
supervise
Yeah.
a whole ward at night.
Yes. Now it's going to be tough. Oh, I imagine now it's done by cameras.
No,
It'll probably be a very closed
I don't
circuit.
think we've even got cameras in each room yet.
No, but in the new one, I imagine they'll have that. Maybe. I
there.
don't know.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, yeah. But so the areas you started to look into first in the technology assessment, what were the big ticket items you started?
You know, I can't remember One of the earlier ones
Yeah.
was government asked us to evaluate breast cancer screening. Should they set up a program? Was it worthwhile?
I see. Had the rest of Canada done that yet?
I don't think so,
Yeah.
because I don't think so.
Mm.
I think they may have been starting, but
Yeah. So
you're
yeah.
pushing my memory a bit. I
Right.
don't think so.
Yeah. And so you had to tell the government it was a good idea or a bad idea. It was
Should they do it or shouldn't they?
Yeah.
And the situation then was very much as it is now. The evidence is inadequate for making such big decisions.
Yes. Yes.
But in the real world, you can't wait until the evidence is adequate,
It may never
as
be.
you would like it to be.
Yeah.
You, just waiting is a decision not to screen.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we looked at it back and forth. You asked the other day when I got involved in epidemiology.
Yes.
This is when I first got really
Was it?
involved, because
Yeah.
the issues were
No, no,
all
yes,
epidemiological
and
studies.
and numerical stuff. Yeah.
And my chief epidemiological advisor then was Jaime Caro,
That's right.
and indirectly Ollie Myrtinen.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And in the end, the recommendation was to start.
We
the
did
screen-
recommend,
Yeah. Yeah.
we recommended
For
screening every second year,
for people over 50, women over 50.
50 to 70.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the under 40, under 50s.
We didn't
Yeah.
think it would be
Yeah.
worth cost effective in
That's
the broader
right.
sense of the word,
Yeah.
that you'd cause more trouble than
Yeah. Yeah.
than you would say.
And there was a fair amount of infrastructure that had to be set up then to get this going.
Yes
Yeah.
and no. The people were already doing mammograms.
Yeah.
What was important was to get, government did a wonderful job. They set up screening centres with good standards of equipment
Mm-hmm.
so that they were available and women were reminded about screening. And women weren't forbidden to be screened before that. A doctor could say,
Sure.
I order a mammogram.
Yeah.
But the difference was making it a government policy.
Yeah. And I think now the reminders come directly to women from the government.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
I
what they
think-
set up then.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly. But independently of your own doctor. So
Sorry?
independently of having a
Um,
doctor or not.
Yes, except that the report goes to your doc. So the presumption is you've got a doc.
Right. Which may not be the case, of course.
Mm.
But yeah, exactly. So that's one, and that the government asked you, the Conseil, to do that then.
And the government
Yeah.
did what.
Were many of the other reports commissioned, or did you?
You know, Jim, my memory is that almost anything that government asked us
Yeah.
got carried out.
Yes.
If we started doing suggestions, evaluations which hadn't been asked for,
Yes.
hardly anybody read them.
I see.
One exception was a study we did. At the time, it was mandatory to x-ray everybody before they had an anesthetic, chest x-ray. I don't think anybody quite knew why.
Yeah.
We did a review of the
X-ray.
subject, no experiments,
Yeah.
published it, sent it around to all Quebec hospitals, and the rate of chest x-rays fell by about 70% in 1 year.
My goodness.
It was listened to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most of the things we did, other than that, didn't have any impact at all.
I see.
If we did them for a government request,
Yeah.
you will remember, they
Yeah.
asked us whether they should do prostate screening.
That's right.
And you were heavily involved.
Yeah. Before that one, there was another one I was telling somebody about on osmolar contrast before dyes for
That's correct.
contrast. Yeah, was that the government? Do you remember?
It wasn't at a government level.
No.
It was at
Somebody had identified
because
it
it's
as-
hospitals that buy their contrast medium.
Yeah,
And
and there was a
did it
more
have an effect? I've never tried to measure it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
You'd have had to have the sales of the different companies.
right.
And what they did do is they lowered the price of the expensive material
see.
and raised the price of the cheap material so as to push society over into using what they wanted used.
I see. The manufacturers did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
does the
So
government negotiate with them on these sorts of
I don't
things?
think so.
No, no.
You know, we don't do our buying at that
Yeah,
level.
yeah, we should.
Every
I think.
little hospital buys its own.
Yeah, we should. We'd save a lot.
Oh, I suppose the advantages of bulk buying,
Yeah.
when it's done right,
Yes.
and your power to negotiate is tremendous.
Yeah.
But these are ordinary human beings, and the potential to do wrong also gets bigger as you go in for bulk
Yes.
decisions.
Sure. Yeah. Now, do you want to talk a bit more about the prostate screening, or we leave it?
You're the better person to talk about that. But yeah, I think we came to the opinion that on the evidence available, there was not enough evidence for government to promote prostate screen. So you don't forbid it.
That's right.
If a doctor wants to do a PSA and
Yeah.
do a rectal exam,
Yeah.
but you did not promote it as a government policy
Yeah.
because we thought there wasn't enough evidence that you would do more good than harm.
That's it. That's it. And I think I remember the words that you had to think out very, very carefully, and they were something like, the downsides are known and they're considerable. The harms are known and considerable. The benefit is uncertain but probably small.
I think that's right.
That's
Yeah.
roughly, I remember it. And I think history has borne us out on that. And I still remember your model for a lot of things was, where did I get this evidence or wherever. Sometimes your left thumb came out a lot because you said the data weren't there, right? You had to go at your best.
And we were pretty certain that it wasn't a question of waiting a few years until there was evidence.
That's
We
right.
were pretty certain the experiment was so difficult,
Yes,
it might never be done.
that's it. That's it. And it has never been done in North America. The only
Well-
one about treatment, about treating or not treating, had to be done in Scandinavia because
They're the only ones.
that would allow a randomization
Yeah,
of that, or
yeah,
maybe the
and
British.
stick to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You randomize 1,000 North Americans, and the first thing they do is cross over.
Exactly. So, do you do anything else in cardiology anymore, or do you still read ECGs, or you keep your hand in? Or?
Do I know?
Yeah.
No. I gave up cardiology about
Yeah, completely.
10 years ago.
Yeah. But of the work in technology assessment, the screening projects were the biggest, were they, by far? With the most societal
yes,
impact?
I think so. We did lots of little ones.
Yeah.
We wondered if piercing the eardrum with putting in a thing called a grommet to get drainage from middle ear infection was a good idea
Just in children?
in children.
Yeah.
Because it caused a lot of hospitalization, and we did a study from the health data, which was quite early for those days,
Mm-hmm.
and we found out that the rate of this operation in the rest of Quebec varied from 4 to 6 times the rate in Montreal. And that's as near as we could get to evidence. I would love to have done the next experiment, which you said, is there more deafness in Montreal because they aren't having the benefit of this wonderful operation?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd come to the end of my mandate.
Yeah. But when you said the
But-
evidence, are you talking about databases from here in Quebec using them, or using the literature from? You're talking about
No,
using,
I meant right here.
yeah,
Um,
MedEcho, the hospitalization
no,
databases. and those things.
using RAMC data,
Yeah. Okay.
just where the procedures were done. And I don't think there's any doubt that the figure was low in Quebec, in Montreal,
Yeah.
because there are 2 medical schools here, and university hospitals, in particular Saint Justine and the Children's, are a major part of the statistics. And people operate when you need it. And outside that, you're into a society which is not intimately connected with medical schools, and the rate is going up, and it becomes the done thing. When you get an acute ear infection, your neighbor...
So you're saying that medical schools, because they're up to date and will be a bit more careful and cautious, is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
I see.
Uh,
And they're watching
to put
the
it
trend.
differently, bad habits, particularly with a financial incentive,
Yes.
a bad habit has a chance of growing in a remote area.
I see.
So that what do? You do what your neighbours do.
Sure.
Let's ask Charlie at the club, what do you do for this acute infection? Oh, you pierce it. You put in a grommet.
And that's because he
And
hasn't
that's
heard
how it
anything
happens.
different since
And-
in medical
and-
school.
And you get a fee for it, and it shows you as
Yeah.
a caring,
Yeah.
helpful
Yeah.
doctor.
But when there's a
It's-
couple of university hospitals around, it's going to be.
You get advice, and you get told to wait, and we don't think there's anything active we can do,
Mhm.
and they're not treated surgically. And there's so many procedures that vary along these lines.
Yes, I remember.
You know all the Dartmouth studies.
Yes, yes. I remember some of the
Regional variation.
yeah, the tonsillectomy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. In one place, they were related to how many urologists there were. We figured it had to be that the ENT
Absolutely.
guy was married to the urologist or something like
Yeah,
that. That's all
yeah.
it'd be. Yeah.
And what I failed in is to get that analytic side converted into policy.
Yeah.
What should I have done with that? I should have been politically active. I should have persuaded the ear
The
specialists
specialist.
to have a meeting to talk about it.
Yes.
But I didn't, partly lack of confidence in my French.
Mm.
I lived and worked in French then, but to be convincing,
Yes.
to get hostile surgeons
Yes.
to get together
And to be back and forth right
needs
away.
that leadership thing,
Yes. Yes.
which is transmitting ideas.
Yes. Yes. There's rapid
And I
fire.
felt inadequate to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Although your French is pretty good and you've learned
I got
French.
by there. I
Yeah.
never called
But
it
you've
pretty.
written to La Presse and written to lots of journals.
Oh, when you do
haven't
that, you cheat. You get a good French writer to check what you do.
And then after you were done with the provincial, the Conseil for the whole of Quebec, you then founded a hospital-based technology assessment unit.
Quite
at the
a bit
Vic.
later.
Yeah. But same principles.
I
but
realized in my
scaled up.
first job
Yeah.
that the Conseil that I was chairing, which still exists and has
Yeah.
grown, and it's now called INES,
Yeah.
that government doesn't actually buy the majority of things. They buy big ticket things, and you need their approval to buy a new MRI machine.
I see.
They install hospitals, they arrange systems, but the actual buying of drugs, devices,
Yeah.
the decision to use them are right down to the patient and the doctor
In that hospital.
in that hospital.
I see.
And it's the hospitals where the buying goes on.
Gotcha.
And it seemed to me that the hospitals weren't even reading the health technology assessments done by big national agencies.
I
And so, as an experiment, we started one up in the MUHC.
Yes.
That again happened by chance. Chance is the big thing. I was standing at the elevator in the Vic one day,
Mm-hmm.
and Hugh Scott,
Yeah.
who was an old colleague of mine,
Yeah.
was standing next to me. He was the Director General. And he said, Maurice, they're using this new pacemaker defibrillator at 35,000 per
Sure.
number. Do they really have to use such an expensive one? And I said, Hugh, I can't tell you off the cuff, but give me a couple of months and I'll study it, and I'll tell you.
Uh-huh.
But better than that, if you spend a few $1,000, I'll set up a small group that will be ready to answer all those questions.
Generically.
Not-
Yeah. Yeah.
Stents, pacemakers, drugs, you name it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll sit there and try and answer the questions for you about whether it could be done more cheaply or whether it should be done at all.
Yeah. In those cases, then
And-
you're relying on a lot of outside compiling studies done on these, and a lot of meta-analyses. And are you
Absolutely,
do
and
your
still
own?
do.
And do
But-
your own sometimes?
Yes, but absolutely,
Yeah.
because nearly everybody else's meta-analysis isn't done the way
You want it.
you want it done.
Yeah.
But you use a lot of them.
Yeah. And
But
then
a hospital, if it's going to commit itself to this sort of money, $1 million worth per this, and 2.5 million of that per year,
Yes.
it needs to have good answers as to whether the evidence really is good, that it should be doing it, and that there isn't a better way of doing it. And that's what we've set up. They now have them in all the university hospitals of Quebec. And they're starting up. I know a couple in Ontario. And in the prairies, they're not doing it at the hospital level. They have much more smaller health regions
Right.
of 2 or 3 hospitals.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there on.
Good. Yeah. So I imagine for epidemiology students listening to you,
Oh,
this is an area people should be paying attention.
they're the best recruits
Yeah.
for people for that sort of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there any chance that what you do for one hospital can be used for another? Or will everyone say they're special and different from the
We
rest?
hope so. But you know, hospital number 2 has got to have in its head that maybe hospital number 1 is doing it. You need a sort of expertise in each hospital to know where to look for the expertise.
I see.
We put everything we do up on the web,
Yeah.
and it gets an immense number of hits every week. It's used worldwide by somebody.
Yes. Yes.
How much my neighbouring hospitals use it, I don't know. Government uses our reports and are quite open about doing so on several things. I've met the deputy minister responsible, and he said, "Yeah, we're applying what you wrote in that report."
Okay. Yeah.
So they are much more widely used, but I don't know how widely.
Since we're on the topic of costs and sustainability and the rest of it, maybe we could spend a minute or two on the big question of how sustainable our whole Canadian system is of healthcare, or publicly
Oh,
funded.
wow, you're aware of that dispute.
Huh? Well, what's
Let
your
me
take on it?
shortcut.
Yeah.
None of our health care systems
Yeah.
in OECD is sustainable.
I see. And which of those?
That'll do it.
This
Do
one?
that. The little squares going up there
Yeah.
are corrected constant dollars.
Yeah.
And they show them rising quite happily year after year. It's not on this slide, but they are rising as a proportion of the GDP. That little break where they go flat is where the Chrétien government decided to stop deficit spending.
Right.
And you remember Mr. Martin was the
Yes,
health minister.
That's right.
And they cut back
Come
on
hell or high water, I think he said. Yeah.
they cut back on provincial transfers.
I see.
And the provinces, the only thing they spend money on is health.
Sure, in education.
It's a major item.
Yeah.
And they had to massively cut back. In Montreal, we closed about 7 hospitals in 1 year.
Wow.
And we cut back the bed state and all the others. And there we go. We are running healthcare for 5-6 years on a constant expenditure, a sustainable state of affairs. But the hullabaloo,
Yeah, the public did.
by the time of that second line,
Yeah.
the public pressure,
Yeah.
the anger about wait times, which there had not been before, became so great that government had to pour on the money again, and the line starts rising more rapidly.
Yeah.
And it can temporarily be pulled back, but only by diminishing the rate of what you're spending on.
Yeah. And
So that is why it is not sustainable unless we know how to slow the growth in spending.
are we alone in this, or other countries? Are other countries having the same?
There's a graph. I don't think you have it here, but all of them are doing it.
This,
That's a good selection.
Yeah. So what's
It's
they're
not,
all at it then?
That graph is nice because they're all going up.
Yeah.
The one country that does not have Medicare, the USA, is going up the steepest.
Yes.
So it isn't Medicare that's causing it. It isn't free riding for free medicines that's doing it. But they're all going up, to answer your question.
Yeah.
And that graph shows you the rise in expenditure in total health services as a percentage of GDP. And so it's consuming more of the wealth of the individual citizen, the wealth of the nation. And so is that sustainable? I think quite clearly it isn't. Now there's quite a group of medical experts, health economists, which say, I don't have that graph with me, that as a percent of GDP of the provinces, the Medicare portion is not going up. It's been restrained.
Oh,
And
I see.
The reason for that is it's been hidden. You hold a hospital to a fixed budget, and the hospital goes on and buys a new technology and closes X beds or has a longer winter, more winter holidays.
Yeah.
It saves money in other ways. It fires the secretaries. So you hide it.
I see.
But if you answer, is it sustainable? No, absolutely not. Not anywhere, because you can't go on spending more of your wealth on any one thing indefinitely.
Yeah.
Someday you've got to fix the potholes and the Champlain Bridge and pay for universities and those sort of things.
Yeah. So we have some heavy choices ahead of us.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting one.
Yeah. But you've lived through, I mean, you've lived from Britain in 1948 onwards to this. Yeah, this is, you've seen the whole curve over mostly industrialized countries of this.
I left Britain about there, and it's the green curve.
That's it exactly. A few other little things on the side, more miscellaneous. One of the things that I remember about you is that you won't, when you go to grand rounds, you won't take their lunches that the pharma societies, that the pharma companies do. Is that always been your case? Have they always been trying to give you a lunch?
It's a long time since I first wrote a paper about free lunches.
Yeah? Oh, you did write about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
how many have you converted, and how many will go ahead and take the lunch?
it's working, oddly enough, in the States.
Yes?
The States are realizing that money is influence,
Sure.
and that if they're giving me a free lunch,
Yeah.
they
There's
must
a
have
reason.
some motive somewhere. We gladly look the other way still.
I see.
I don't think anybody in Canada, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know of any others that.
Yeah.
No, it's sort of futile for a single individual, but it would be illogical to preach that doctors should not accept free gifts from pharmaceuticals and then have one myself. I'm not
Right.
religious about it,
Yeah.
but as a general rule, I
Yeah.
prefer to pay my own way.
Yeah. The other thing on that, it gets back to your philosophy of life in general. You say when you are convinced of something you think is right, you want to tell the world about it. I don't know if I got it right from the last time we talked about wanting to do something once you're convinced. Where's that, have I got it right what your style is?
Yeah, I imagine we all get most of our attitudes from our families.
Yes. And that's where yours came from.
And my father would have said, he didn't like getting up and preaching, but he would say, if you think
yes.
something, not cheating on your income tax,
Right.
is a good idea, and hide it. Most of society fixes its moral values on what is being done around it. If you know that all your neighbors are cheating on their income tax and getting away with it and going to Florida for a holiday that you can't afford, there is a strong probability you will start to cheat yourself. I'm giving you this as an experiment that I won't quote to you now.
Right.
But there is very good evidence that to an advanced degree, to a major degree, we set what we do by what is being done around us, what we know is being done.
Or even what we suspect is being done. In the doping in sports, it's even what we suspect is going on. So the dopers join in with the others because they
the doper must feel, if he's the only guy not doping,
that's right.
he must feel a dunce.
Yeah.
And the persuasion is very strong.
Yes.
Grow up, guy, grow up.
That's Lance
Come
Armstrong.
into the real world.
That's it.
Those are the phrases that he used.
Yeah. yeah,
and they pertain to the bribery in our public life
yeah,
and to the corruption.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I think
so my dad would have said, if you adopt an attitude, good or bad, do it openly,
yes,
because we are parts of the whole. Man is not an island unto itself.
exactly, exactly. I think there's even some quotations from the Bible that I could kick. Yeah,
No.
dig out.
Who is
Something
it?
about hiding your light under a bushel. That's something different. I
Very
guess.
good.
Yeah, is that it?
yeah,
Same
that's right.
idea? Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So,
Are you?
so you want to try to avoid being terribly self-righteous,
Yeah,
but again,
yeah,
not hiding the fact that
yeah.
that you do what you do.
Talking about moral compass, and that's a buzzword today now. You mentioned to me recently a book you read about being righteous. Is that it? Or
Oh, The Righteous Mind?
yeah, it was that you said was pretty good book.
I found it a very good read.
Yeah, yeah. And what's it about?
Oh, goodness, it's a complicated book, and I shouldn't...
Yeah, but it's
Um,
is it about or whether
It-
we're human
it
beings
is-
are naturally
Why
good?
did I read it? I
Yeah.
read it because sitting in my health technology assessment group,
Mm-hmm.
I am liable to develop the opinion that we as a group should not buy that drug.
Yeah,
Why not? Because the gain is very small
yeah,
and we could use the money better for something else. But I'm making a moral judgment. And if you were the person who had the disease, which might be relieved
yeah,
by that,
yeah.
how would I feel about it?
Yeah.
Well, that happens the whole time.
Sure.
And I start to say to myself, where is my, from where do I get the opinion that this is the right thing to do?
I see.
And the other thing is the wrong thing.
I see.
Where does my sense of right come from?
Yes, yes.
And since contemporarily we can't go to the bishop or the pope or
Right.
or the rabbi,
Yeah,
you start wondering where the sense of right does come from. And that's why I read that particular book. And it has some sense of an answer.
yeah, yeah. Good. Okay. Now, just to
If
finish.
I gave you a summary, it would say there is no right.
Yeah?
You think abortion should be done, and I think it shouldn't be done. There isn't a right answer. The name of the game is to find the answer which causes the least pain to either side, or the most satisfaction.
Right.
And this is a matter of negotiation.
Yes.
And humanity will never decide it is morally right or morally wrong to forbid the wearing of a
Yes.
veil, if you like.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. I think we'll skip the big sweep of history and what medicine has done for mankind over that time. Because I want to, just in the last few minutes, just to ask about outside of academia for a second. One, you were talking about reading, although even the books you read sound like they have to do with work and the technology assessment and so on. But were you very disciplined in outside of academia? Did you take weekends off? Were you a workaholic all your life? Did you take
I
vacations?
suppose the derogatory word would be workaholic.
Yeah,
When you are lucky enough to have an occupation which is enthralling,
yeah,
you believe it to be important as to whether you cure somebody or don't.
yes.
Those people tend to be workaholics.
I see.
Churchill felt like that about politics.
Yes,
People who are lucky enough to have jobs
that are interesting. Yeah,
tend to be workaholics
Yeah,
because they think
yeah.
they're important.
yeah. But you do go to the country, and you have a country house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we saw the
So-
Model
so-
T.
so-
Right, the Model T is still out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And you're still going there?
Yes.
Yeah. And does it have electricity yet?
We skip it in winter now.
Yeah.
We're getting a bit old to go in on skis,
Right, because there's no electricity there.
dragging the scotch in a toboggan behind us.
I see, and there's no electricity in the
No
car.
electricity, no.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. So when you go in and it's 30 below, it takes quite a long time to warm it up,
What, with gas?
log fires.
Oh, Oh, I see.
No, there's no gas.
No gas either.
I've got bottled gas for
For cooking,
yeah.
just. I see.
yeah, and lights.
Yeah. And do you still, the time I was there, I remember the notice on the side of the window near the porch on the front door where you said to the burglars. What was that? What was the note to the burglars?
We were broken into so often because it was very isolated. It is very isolated. And I was tired of fixing the windows.
Yes.
And I put a notice up saying, please don't break in, the window's open.
I see. Take the bottle of scotch.
And we put a bottle of scotch nearby the window.
And so when you're there, you don't bring books to do. You're outside logging and getting enough firewood for the.
Absolutely.
Is that it?
Keep you busy.
Yeah, I see. And have you seen much of the world to travel? Is that, or you prefer to be in the Eastern Townships, or would you go around the world?
Jim, when you emigrate from a place like South Africa, you tend to keep roots.
Yes.
And family.
Yes.
So the time that I might otherwise have travelled the Gaspé, or
you've gone back to South
Louisiana,
Africa.
I've gone back home.
Yes. Yeah.
To expose grandchildren to grandparents. And
you've brought them back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you spend available time and available money.
Yes. And there are family back there to expose them to as well, or just the country?
Not anymore.
Yeah, more to the country rather than anything else.
But until recently, there've been grandparents and things to visit.
Exactly. So I think we'll end up. I maybe want to ask you what you'd say to our epidemiology students about what they should be concentrating on, or do you think they're doing okay as they are, or the ones you've met, are they trained the way you think they should be, or?
Jim, I'm very much an outsider. I'm an epidemiologist
you're a user
by marriage.
Yes, exactly. But you've now in the last 20 years had to face.
So I've used
Yeah.
epidemiology.
Yeah.
It's a subject that is, now I'm not seeing patients, is more part of my discipline and thinking than cardiology, if you like.
I see.
Or medicine.
Yeah.
But I've not, I wouldn't evaluate it in the way it's intensely interesting to me, the way you guys think.
I see.
The way you research.
Yeah.
It's got such immense dividends in knowledge that you can never get any other way.
Interesting, yeah. Because I say to people sometimes, somebody in geography or sociology could think the same as us. And it's just scientific thinking in a way, isn't it?
Say that again?
It's just scientific thinking. That, I mean, the one that I always say about you is when you say to me, Jim, I'm not an epidemiologist, but then I get worried because your scientific instincts are just as strong and stronger than many of the epidemiologists who think they have all these extra tools. And I worry sometimes the epidemiologists may be using tools without thinking. Instead of, I have a feeling you go instinctively about it, and that it's a part of your scientific training as well.
But the accent of there is instinctively, so I'm not a good analyst of what I do instinctively.
Yeah, but I know when you do say to us, I'm not an epidemiologist, but you've often seen the faults or the flaws in our own thinking.
It does seem to me that epidemiology is common sense applied to large numbers.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And you need to have some of the little wrinkles, like confounding, pointed out to you, but they are common sense.
Yes, if taught properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you have any closing advice for people, or just tell them do whatever, enjoy life, pick an interesting job? Is that what you've done, or did the job come to you?
I don't think you pick it.
It comes to you.
Yeah.
It comes to you.
You're just lucky.
Yeah. I see.
And going back to that use of the word workaholic.
Yeah.
I think it does imply imbalance. It doesn't imply just working a lot at your job. And imbalance is doing your job to the neglect of your home
and family
and your own physique, your health.
Yeah.
So to that extent, I would deny being a workaholic.
Yes, you seem to have a bit.
But I have spent long times and weekends on work with great pleasure.
Yes. But you may be doing it out in the country too.
That's the break.
Yeah, exactly.
The other point you raised as you were going along was my sensitivity to advertising, to the pharmaceutical
Yes.
industry in particular,
Yeah.
promotion of their drugs. And why is that line going up?
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about drugs only. That's about 20–25% of healthcare costs
Wow.
are drugs.
So we've gone from the...
And they have tended to go up at about 10% per year,
Oh.
way faster.
Yeah, than inflation, yeah.
The papers that I read tell me that of every 100 new drugs marketed and put on the market and sold, not more than maximum 85%, sorry, not more than 15%, and probably closer to 9 or 10%, are new and do something useful and new.
Yeah, that the old
The
ones
rest are Me Too drugs,
Yeah.
which we didn't need. We didn't need to spend the money doing it. But given enough advertising, you can sell anything to
Yeah,
anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I'll give you a guess. How much do you think US spends on drug promotion in 1 year?
Drug promotion, advertising and promoting.
Yeah.
Going on.
That's giving the doctors their free lunches,
Yeah,
taking them to the Congress for free.
yeah. I wouldn't have a clue. It's billions for sure.
Yeah, I think the last figure I looked up was about, I think it was about 50 billion a year.
Wow.
50 billion.
Wow, wow.
And imagine you can sell anything to anybody with that sort of money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so we've gone
And
from...
add to that, the, not called promotion, the money they've had to spend, all the big pharmaceuticals have had to spend on bribery,
Yeah,
settling out of court or paying fines. They're all in on it, from anything from a few million to $1 billion in the last few years.
So there's been a price, in a sense, you're saying, for the progress from... You said in medical school you had 4 drugs that were worth anything, right?
Now
Out
we're
of
promoting.
350. Now you're saying we probably have 50 or 60 that matter and the rest are all Me Too. Is that what you're saying?
But you've touched on sustainability.
Yeah. That's...
Things we can do about sustainability is to eliminate wastage.
Yes.
And that developing 80% of the drugs that are developed and paying for them and using them is pure wastage. And that's one item in which we could flatten out that rising line.
I see.
There are many other
Yeah.
devices,
Yeah.
but the drugs are an easy one.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, you know, I hope you and the Model T keep going for many, many, many more years. Thank you very much for sharing these reflections with us and for being such an inspiration to all of us.
Thanks, Jim. Good.